The Two Dudes Podcast about two
It's
dudes.
like when I talk to people from other places of the world, they have a very similar spirit and consciousness as I do. And I have a hard time kind of connecting the religious part with the sort of humanity part of it. Like that we're also.
I mean, I think the humanity is that we all believe in higher power. That's the humanity part of it. We're all believing that there is something greater than us. One, two, you know, who wants to say God is absent in their life, because the fact is that we refer to God because that's what we know, and that's what we learned, and that's what we're read in the Bible. That is what
The truth?
the truth is to us, right?
When you say us, though, you're saying.
Hold on. So when to us, we, even though that is our truth and that is the reality of things to us, to other people, they can they can see that it's not absent in their life, because they will see it as Gaia, Shiva, all that other stuff. Now, it talks about in the Bible that all those are false idols, right? Yeah. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that it's not to say that their belief in a higher power is absent. That's where I'm getting at. They do believe in God, in a sense, because the thing is, to us, God is to be a focus to help us grow and be who we need to be, and go in a certain path. The Bible is just not a rule book, but a direction of like, hey, if you do this, this is the possibilities that will happen. And at the same time, it's recorded um similar situations that we go through today. It may not be the same thing as, like, what you think about, like, what is this about loaves and bread, and like, well, like the simple love thy neighbor as you love as you love thyself, the basic one, where it's like, can't we all just get along? It's the similarities of things where these are the basic rules, these are the basic things of human nature that throughout the years, these people, were trying to communicate, and are constantly communicating, regardless, to just try to everyone on this floating rock to just work together.
Yeah, honestly, I like where you're going with it with regards to the floating rock thing, because when you're a kid and you go to church and everything, they're basically filling your brain up with this information, right? So that's all and that's why I think, like, it's growing up, going to church and stuff like that. It's like I had friends that were very, like, Christian, and then I had friends that were not, they were, they sort of believed in God, or they sort of followed their own path, which at first, when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I thought it was kind of very, like, I wouldn't say evil, but I would think it's like, oh, it's not what you're supposed to do, right? But then as I got older, I realized how human other people are that are not like me at all. That it's almost like when I read the Bible, like you said, like, it has all these truths and it has all this information that we could use to better ourselves. And at the same time, it has all these, like, woes, like, hey, if you do this, like, love your neighbor, or, you're your brother's keeper, kind of thing. Like, that's like, these are like universal things that, to me, they help guide me on a regular basis, because, like, sometimes I feel lost in the sense that, like, oh, what's my purpose? Like, let's say I'm having a bad day and I don't want to, like, interact with people, because I'm so, like, just drained. These, like, these simple verses about love and about, like, humility kind of helps me kind of go back to, like you said, like, the idea of, like, we're all on this rock, like, nobody has it together. And so
It's like,
it just, to me personally, it kind of humbles me, be able to kind of sort of respect people even if I don't understand them at all, or you know what I mean, like, because it's like you sort of like, you know, that saying like you fear what you don't understand, or you might even hate what you don't understand. It's like it kind of puts me in my own lane with regards to like even my family members. You know, I have like family members that are very religious, so it's like they probably see me here in LA like just doing, you know, what I do, and they might not say anything, but maybe they think like, oh, he's lost. You know, like he doesn't. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like I
but the
on a
thing
regular
is,
basis.
it's not supposed to be like, bro. There's no like. It's a personal. It's a person. It's literally like your own life. It's your own life, so it's your own belief. Like going to church, honestly, and this is the history of it, and this is what I follow. You know, John the Baptist didn't need a fucking church. He just had a riverbed. Invited motherfuckers over to come over, and then he dunks them in, and he's like, "You are washed of your sins." You know what I'm saying? It's the temple, and then God, Jesus even said, "I will raise his temple in 3 days." He wasn't talking about the temple that the church. He was talking about himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you are going to fall. You are going to get back up. It's your personal belief in all this. This is your daily struggle. And then you and then think about this when people, this is why I get annoyed of churches too, right? Because they don't really, most churches don't set up a proper example. Most churches don't set up a proper example because it's on the person, right? In the sense that like when who were Jesus's disciples? Fucking thieves, you know, hardworking people, you know, horror and you know all these common people, bro. In the end of the day, they all had a past. They all had a past, you know, and they weren't perfect. There was multiple things they were struggling with every day. In the end of the day, it's what they did with their lives that's what mattered most. You know, you don't have to quit, but you can try to be a better person than you were the other day. You know, I have friends who like do hardcore drugs, but I don't have to indulge in them. I can be there and then after, you know, give my 2 cents. Whether they wanna follow, that's up to them. But me reaching out to them like that, they cannot say God was not there with them because that was literally God using me to say, hey, you know, look at yourself. Is this what you want for yourself? It's not judging you.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just saying
It may
like,
seem like it because it's like,
but it's the mentality where that person has to be at. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
To be honest, like it's this is another thing too. Like me on the other hand, I want to do for me. I want to do hardcore shit all the time. I want to get drunk. I want to fucking get high all the time. I want to fucking kill myself, right? I want to do all that shit, right? But the thing is, why? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm tired. I'm numb, and I want, you know, like I want that freedom, that mental freedom, because I don't get it. I have responsibilities that I have to take care of. I have shit that I have to do and everything like that. But I have to be driven. I had to pull myself up from the bullshit, right? And get to it. And that's the thing with God. It's a focus. You know what I'm saying? I went when I would go to church because of the way I dressed or the way that I looked and everything like that. They were like, "Oh, don't hang around that person," you know. Like, dude, you don't know who I am. You know, one time I decided to dress up in a suit, and then they're like, "Oh, so you finally accepted Jesus Christ into your heart?" I've been accepting Him.
yeah.
I've been a Christian. A lot of people they're shocked when they find out. Oh yeah, I'm just not gonna boast about it. I don't need to shout to the world, "Hey, guess what? I'm Christian." Or anything. It's not for
I
popularity.
just feel like it can also get kind of awkward when people do that because it's like And I'll give you an example. This was kind of when I was going through. I was going to seminary and studying the Bible seriously. I met people that would kind of judge me or kind of would make fun of like if I went out drinking with Buddy. Right? This is
But then look at Paul.
But check this out though. They would tell me this thing, right? And I'd be like, yeah, like right. But then years later, they're doing that. They maybe had a divorce or they had, some kind of family, trauma that now they're doing that and they might be out partying and stuff. And I could sit here and be like, point at them and be like, oh, what happened to you? But it's like, it's just to me, it's kind of awkward to try to go around. That's why I struggle with that verse in the Bible about like, don't judge people, but also judge them. Have you know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, don't judge lest you be judged, right? That's how.
Oh,
common, right?
yeah,
But
the
then
further.
also it says like the church or the body of Christ should judge each other.
But there's to counter that, there's this thing where in Ephesians, they talk about how Paul was seen hanging out with, the people who are just they don't go to church. They're just fucking common people, and the people from church are just like, yo, dude, why are you hanging out with those people? Right. The reason why I'm not saying is because they call them the Gentiles and the circumcised, whatever, you know. But the point is the fact that the people at church are telling him, why are you hanging out with those people? And he's like, are they no different than who we are when we decided to come here? Like me hanging out with these people, when I heard that, I learned to be very open-minded, where me, when I hang around, like I hung around some people that was doing meth. You know what I'm saying? Was doing meth. And in that moment, I have my bottle of Hennessy and everything I'm offering to drink and everything. We're all just drinking. Hey, you want some? No, I'm chill, dude. Do you though? Do you? I'm letting them know that I'm not going to judge their shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want to do.
It's like kind of like that saying, like you get in where you fit in. It's kind of like, they've chosen that part of their character to be that way, and you've sort of accepted like, hey, I can't change you.
It's not.
That doesn't mean I'm not gonna.
It's not about changing them. It's about showing them that you're there, right? I'm making my presence known, because after they're asking, so hey, why don't you? I'm like, look, man, I just don't do that. I'm offering you a drink because it's to show that I'm here as a courtesy and everything. And that's it. But I just don't think that's for me, because I'd rather be this mentality. I'd rather focus on this, and I feel like this stuff will inhibit me from being this way. And then they start to think about that and everything like that, like, oh, damn, man, I never thought like that. Like, you're so chill and everything. Well, the reason why I'm so chill is because I'm a Christian, and I believe in this kind of stuff. Oh, really? We're like, because Christians, like, aren't they usually like this? I mean, that's what they're known for, because there's people out there that really put up a bad rep. But in the end of the day, like, it literally says in the Bible, like, what's it called? That is not my job. My job is just to spread the word of God, not to be the word of God. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not the word of God. As in, like, I'm not his judgment. I'm not the judgment. I'm just a message to know that he is known. He is known, because, and then the example I put is that God is like a father figure or a parent for those people who are gender neutral, but he's a parent, right? He is a parent that if you come home drunk, he was waiting up for you all night. But the fact that you're home, but he's disappointed. He's going to turn off the light. You guys are going to go to sleep, and that's it. He's not going to talk to you. And in the morning, he's going to cook you food and everything like that, and you sit down at the table, and then you guys are going to have a discussion. Hey, man, what's going on? Why did you go through that? What's happening? You see what I'm saying? It's not in the usual parents where they're like yelling and everything. No. It's the one where they're trying to understand what's going on with you, because the thing is, it's you. It's your internal self. You are doing this to yourself. God is not making this do anything to you. The devil's not doing anything of that to you. You are doing this to yourself. You are procrastinating and doing the shit that you're supposed to do You are procrastinating in the fact that you're supposed to go to work. You're the one that's not motivating yourself. It's you dragging yourself down and letting everything around you just fucking sink their claws into you and drag you down to the depths. The only thing you need to do is breathe and say, hey, I got this. And just believe that you got this. And the whole point of having God is to give you that extra boost. Now, God doesn't necessarily have to be our God. And it's my God. To me, it will always be that God. But to other people, you have to understand that God is a symbol of hope for people who don't know or how to believe in hope. You know? So when you look towards God, you see hope. When people see their gods, they see hope or whatever they see, because it's a higher power. It's something that's going to bring them up to fight for whatever they need to fight. Like people used to pray to Ares before they went to war.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To the god of war, they used to pray to Ares and for a good battle. You know what I'm saying?
Which is kind of, it's funny when you think about it, because it's like it's true that they need that power, that energy.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not like I'm praying for my enemies. You're praying to be able to slay your enemies. That's
Yeah.
a completely different thing. And like you said, like God is that sort of driving force. And you know, I think a lot of people can, in their, you know, God created us with such a like magnificent mind to be able to just think and create, that a lot of people, they get kind of twisted in thinking, you know, this is what God would want me to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think ultimately the way I see God communicating, going back to the idea of how does God communicate with us, is, to me, anything that I'm doing, if it's not in love, ultimately, then it's not positive, you know, because like the idea of, like, you know, God doesn't like ugly, right? So it's like you said, if you're allowing the claws and like the pressure of this world that is really, it's a dying world, like everything, like, you know, 1 million people don't wake up every day, right? So it's like everything around us is dying, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the opposite is true. We're creating life every day. You know, if I talk to someone that is discouraged and I tell them, like, hey, I think you could do it, like you know, you shouldn't make excuses, but there's a lot of work to be done. I think you could do it. You're creating life into that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so here's the thing, like drugs, you know, I'm not going to say don't do them. I'm not going to say don't do them, because one is, it depends where you're at in your life. If you experience something that's going to take you to something more profound than where you are in your environment, then it's going to happen. You're going to do that, you know, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty, but at the same time, it needed to happen in order for you to find out, like, holy shit, this is not me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is not me. Yeah. And there's other times, you know, you do it because you realize, like, you know, I'm just doing it because I want to experience it. You know, it's not, you have to differentiate what the purpose of something is, because the things of this world is not of God. You are that. Like I said, me being in that group that time, you know, it was me showing that I love these people, you know, because I'm acknowledging them, I'm conversing with them, and I'm accepting who they are. I'm not judging them. You know what I'm saying? And then them doing that stuff to them, it was more of like questions of why. What does that actually do for you? If you just want to numb the pain and everything like that, but you know that's going to be there right after. And then so you're going to develop an addictive personality, because you're going to try to get rid of your problems through this substance. But guess what? it's not gonna go away unless you deal with whatever shit you're going through. I've been fucking poor. You know, I've failed multiple times. The best thing to do in those situations is not turn to alcohol, not turn to anything other than the fact that you have to own it.
Own it.
You own it.
Own it.
And in the end of the day, and people need to understand, God is your support system. Because it's literally you versus the world, and God is just there and like, hey man, I just want to let you know you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? You're doing good.
I have two questions for you. One is when someone's going through something that's very like, let's say someone's just in a bad place in their life, right? Emotionally, they don't know what the fuck to do with themselves in terms of they're just you know, I don't know if you ever felt that where you feel very hopeless.
Yeah.
How would you communicate to that person? Like how would you like try to get them out of the mud in a way, like without, obviously you can't pull them out of the mud yourself because then you'll fall in. You have to they have to come out of that themselves.
Sink. You sink. You get into that mud and you figure out why you're there. You figure out why you're there because guess what, dude? And it's like why I told my friend, I will be in the void with you. But if it's gonna stay like this, I can't stay too long.
Right.
I can't stay too long because then I can't save you anymore. You can only save yourself. At that point, you can only save yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can only care and love someone so much that whatever they're going through, it will consume you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not them. It's basically whatever problems that they haven't unfinished or they don't know how to tackle. And even though you could give them all the tools, in the end of the day, it's up to them whether they want to get through it and live with whatever scars are they left with. Because, bro, we're all scarred. And there's an example that I have about. I have a tattoo here, right? I got a tattoo, right? Tattoos are scars that you pay for, that you want, right? It's a bunch of needles all the time and everything, and when it heals, it's a scar.
It's a carving, really.
Yeah, so it's a scar. When I got scratched in the middle of my tattoo, I got so pissed because this was a year after, and I got a fucking scar in the middle of my tattoo. Right? And I started thinking like, holy shit, this is what trauma is. This is an example of trauma. Because there's scars that we know that we can live with, sacrifices that we can live with, that like we know that I could let go of that person. Or I could let go of this thing in my life that like, you know, it's okay. Right? Or I could accept that this happened to me. But then there's other things that like, you know, you get dumped or you get into a car accident or, you know, something unfortunate happens to you. And that's an unwanted scar. And that's something that's going to live with you for the rest of your life. And now I'm looking at this thing that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. You know, I could go to the tattoo artist and pay $400 to get this covered up or whatever the much they're going to charge me. Or I can just accept what this is and live with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a scar. It's always going to be there. You know?
Jeez, that's deep.
So that's what it is. You have to know what scars you can live with and what scars you have to accept and not move on with your life because you're always going to go back to that. The only thing you can do is when that memory does come up and hits you, you're ready for it. And you welcome it like you welcome it like it's going to boost you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is not me. This is not going to take me to where it's going what it intends
This
to
won't be
take.
my downfall.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I couple things. Tony Robbins. I think I read a quote that he said, and I'm sure he probably didn't write it. Something, the internet or some bot wrote it, but it was the idea of like your biggest failure, the thing that just drives you freaking bananas, how it could have happened or whatever.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, like you said. It's like you have to let it be the positive fuel to you as a rocket, right? As traveling through this, because even like you said, scars that we can live with and scars that we can't live with, we don't even know what that is until it happens. You know what I mean? Like a decision that I made, let's say, with a certain individual or something, when you don't even know the long term consequences of that. You think in the moment you're just in a bad place, and you don't realize that later on when you are in a good place, that can still haunt you.
Yeah.
That can still hurt, right? So it's one of those things, like kind of even going back to something you said in the beginning of the conversation about this idea of like sort of the predestination. Like you already know God has you, and you already know that everything will work good according to those that love God, right? So when you think about when you're helping somebody,
not love God, but follow
or seek God, because what's the difference
Yeah.
to you between someone following God and someone seeking God?
Someone who's seeking God is going to go through shit. Is going to go through shit because they're going to question their beliefs. They're going to question whatever they've known their whole lives. They're going to question whatever they learn, and the churches are going to dig into their minds and tell them, oh, you have to think like this. You have to be like this. It's a personal journey when you're seeking God. I had a friend that told me, hey, man, guess what? I found God. That's great, man. That's cool. Why are you saying like you don't care? It's not that I don't care, man. It's just I don't know how you want me to feel. This isn't like a reward system. This isn't anything. It's something that you're going to go through, and
It's very personal.
yeah, it's very personal, bro. Everyone goes through it differently, bro. Everyone goes through it differently, and honestly, it's a personal relationship. Fuck the church. Fuck the church. Fuck the pastor, fuck all that. It's all about you and God. And hashing it out in the sense that you are trying to get answers, and the only answers you're gonna find is within you. Cause it's all you.
It's all you.
It's all you. Okay? God didn't wake up to be late for fucking work. God didn't tell you to break up with your girl. God didn't tell you to, what's it called, cheat. God didn't do any of that shit. Or for you that you got cheated on. If you got cheated on, guess what? That person wasn't for you. That person wasn't for you. And therefore, that instinct telling you to leave, get away, and everything is God telling you, like, bro, get the fuck out.
Right.
Get the fuck out.
Dodge the bullet type.
That's because and the thing is, it's whatever isn't of God isn't for you.
Isn't good.
And whatever is for the world, you know what I'm saying, is not of God. You get that? Like that's just it, bro. That's just it. It's your personal journey. And then so when you are following God, you understand that. You understand that when that person did that to you, it's going to hurt and it's going to suck, and you're already pissed off because you already knew. You already knew. People were thinking like, oh, you're overthinking it. I'm not overthinking it. Because guess what? Guess what, dude? People are predictable. People have a pattern. People do the same exact shit because people are fucking evil. Jesus said it himself.
That's right.
He said, God, forgive them for they do not know what they do. In the end of the day, motherfuckers are going to be motherfuckers.
That's crazy.
The only thing you can do is accept whatever it is and just keep going, because guess what? When you do that, something better is going to happen. oh, well, what about the homeless people? What about this and everything? If it matters that much to you, you're already showing integrity and caring enough, go and do something about it.
It's like that whole like the idea of like God puts a thought in your heart, right? Or like you know, in like the church, it's very common for people to be like, oh, you know, God has called me out to Africa or to this place. It's like
Go, go. If you know that's what you want, go.
mm.
You know,
Now let me ask you this to kind of
but be prepared to accept whatever is coming to you.
the good and the bad.
The good and
because
bad.
when I look at being here in Los Angeles, right? Like in the scene of creating content and being around artists and creating works of art that we do here, it's very you know it can be challenging because a lot of people say, oh, God's not here, right? Oh, Hollywood is just a bunch of you know fucking sinners.
Do you see him? That's what I would say.
course.
No, no, hold on. This is what I would say. Do you see him? I don't. I don't see him. But I know he exists through everything that I
I
have.
feel him.
You know what I'm saying? Yo.
I feel,
Hey, yo. No,
I feel God, right?
well, yeah, everything that I have is him. Everything that I have is him. The motherfuckers I meet, the shit that I have, right? It's all him. It's all him. And when you have to, I heard something that really got to me because people are like, how do you balance being successful and being and being a believer and a religious person? You have to have humility. You have to understand that it's not
It's not about you.
it's not about you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you got to where you got to, but the thing is you have to be grateful and thankful for it, because I couldn't have done this without the people that are involved in my life. I couldn't have done this mostly without God giving me that where people had left me. And you all this, you don't think it demanded sacrifice? You know,
It took
I didn't
everything.
I didn't have to sacrifice a fucking lamb or a person or anything, but I had to sacrifice myself. You sacrifice yourself. And the people that you sacrifice are friends, family, people who say like, "Hey, I'm there for you." But they're not. They leave. You have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
You hate it. You hate it because you like they said that.
They should be
But
informed.
but you know what, bro? They're their own people. They're on their own.
Their own problems.
They're on their own
their
path.
own
They're on.
existential
That's it.
crisis.
That's
Yeah.
it. The ones who stay and the ones who tell you that like that they will show you. One thing my dad always told me: actions speak louder than words. Actions always speak louder than words, and that's something that always plays in my mind because when it comes down to God, God doesn't have to say like, "Hey Peter, I'm here. Hey bro, hey yo, I'm behind you." You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to say that, but it's the stuff around me where like I don't know what to do, man. I feel like I'm failing. I don't know what to do, and I just remember my ex at a time. Hey, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be okay and everything. Just keep going. Just keep going. And then I'm thinking I have nothing, and then this like I get hit up by the studio and telling me like, hey, what's it called? Do you what's it called? Like, are you interested in this? And the person I wasn't feeling it. And then my friend's brother ended up a year later talking to the new manager and then developing a relationship there, and then from there, that's how it all happened. Now we're in the studio. We have the studio. But that you saw how all that worked? It's all a time process. It can't happen overnight.
And it's a chess game, I think, too.
It is a
And
fucking
I
huge
think
ass chess game.
You in particular, you know, I know how much you like chess.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like chess. I don't play it as much as you do, obviously. But I've noticed since you and I sort of teamed up to build this, because what we're doing here is very multidimensional. You and I have both had to really humble ourselves to learn all these new things that we did, which to me is very exciting, right? Because yeah, I could do things on my own, but it's very humbling and learning and growing to be able to do with other people, because now I have to deal with, you as a person, and we have to work together. It's not like I can just go somewhere to be alone, because I have a job to do, and it's given me purpose to have that. You know what I
The
mean? And with the whole chess thing, like you said, it's taken time for us to get here, right? And it's moves that you've had to make behind the scenes. It's moves that I've had to make here in the scenes for it all to work out to where we have a viable product with the right people. You know what I mean? Because it's really about having the right people around you. I could have a bad day and it can mess up the energy of the whole room if I'm not careful. You know what I mean? If I come here with an attitude and I'm just like trying to make it about me, that those are things that as a team, and as a group of friends that come here and get the opportunity to do this, is important to play that chess game and have those right people, because the right energy, you and I are very in sync in the sense that we know what we want right now. You know what I'm saying? We're struggling with our own interpersonal things, but when we come here, we understand that it's not about either one of us, because we have such a big picture for ourselves here, and just overall in terms of what we're building. I think the energy and our ability to deal with our own problems outside of here is kind of is an alignment, because I don't want to say, oh God, he put us here together, or you meet people for a reason. Like, I know that you do, but like you said, nobody makes you be late to work. Nobody caused you to do that bad thing. It's something that in the moment you didn't realize was going to be a life lesson, but it's something that could have been prevented, and that's what
so I
that's
think
what
I think this is getting really interesting in the sense that, like, you say it like that, right? So I wasn't gonna bring up the whole studio thing, as in the sense that, like, this as a project or anything like that. I was talking in the sense of the building itself and the process of it. Now this is interesting because you say we know where we need to get at, but I want to know, for you, where do you think now, if we're going to bring the project involved in this subject, right? Where do you think we need to be at?
right now, or you mean
No,
like
no, just where do you think the project, where do you think this studio is the goal? Because now I'm interested in knowing if we're on the same page.
I think ultimately a network,
Uh-huh.
a place that like you said, it's for artists, but it's having the right people together to be able to point other people in the right direction. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because a lot of us come here and we have maybe a set of skills, right? Someone's good with cameras, someone's good with audio engineering, management, project, whatever the case. I think ultimately this can grow into a network of um, kind of like, I don't want to use the word empire, but I think network is a
I
little
would
bit.
say empire. But the thing is that, like, what is the ambitious side of it? Like,
I think for me personally, is to sort of prove myself right, right? Like, I've
mm-hmm,
always known that I'm that guy, right?
mm-hmm,
But at the same time, personally, I've struggled with a lot of insecurities, right, from my
mm-hmm.
own life. Not to get into details of it, but
Let's get into details.
well, like not having a dad, being poor, things like this.
Yeah.
That psychologically, you're ill prepared to be a human being, let alone a leader. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you said, you want to build this into an empire, a conglomerate. That takes the right kind of people, the network of people, right? And so, to me personally, like, the reason why it excites me to build this with you is because it helps me to really sort of fulfill that that question that I've always had, is, can I do it?
But the question is that can you do it? You see that? One of my favorite talked about quotes is, Marcus Aurelius, I guess, had a man follow him, and every time he done something that was accomplishing, the man, his only job was to whisper in this guy's ear saying, "You're only a man.
Yeah.
You're only a man. You're only a man. You're only a man. You're only a man." I, for me, I purposely will sacrifice everything to know where I need to go. When you seek knowledge instead of power, it will come to you. You know what I'm saying? Knowledge is power, not power is power. When you know more than the other person,
It's real power.
that's real power.
Yeah.
And so when you can struggle, when you know that you can be poor, when you know that you are worthless to other people, when you know that it's just you are worth more than the person who depends on all that.
I see what you mean.
Being rich is nothing. Because guess what? Later on, you could buy the same shit for half off. Whatever was...
knockoff.
No, not even knockoff. You don't do knockoff. You go for the fucking real thing. Don't ever go for a fucking knockoff. Don't ever go for a fucking knockoff. If you want something, fucking get it. You fucking get it, bro.
Preach.
And listen to that. Okay? If a fucking homeless man could put out his fucking hand, ask for fucking $5 and get $5, if a hooker could spread her fucking legs or open her mouth for $200, and you can get whatever you want, you gotta fucking do it. Okay? No fake fucking shit, because you don't see those people out there like that. You don't see that. And you gotta take that shit to fucking heart. If you want something, you can get it. You gotta play fucking chess. You gotta play fucking chess. Because the moment you get a fucking knockoff, are you complete? Are you actually complete?
You're at that point, I feel like you're delusional.
Thank you.
Because that's so true what you say about, money, being rich is nothing, because there's a lot of people that are rich, they have everything you could ever think of, and they're still not fulfilled.
Poor people focus on money. And that's the trick. Rich people, real rich people, listen to me. This is a fucking mentality, okay? And I'm telling you, okay, listen. Rich people only care about fucking time. Only care about fucking time. Okay? Therefore, if you want to be rich, don't let your fucking time be wasted. When you go into an interview, make sure you're getting in and getting out. If it's not the job for you, fucking leave. Go to another job. When another job tries to tell you what to do, and if it's not something for you, get another fucking job.
Yeah.
Get another fucking job. Get 2 jobs. If you want a fucking car, get 3 motherfucking jobs. Make sure if you could fucking live with those consequences. If you want to buy a new car, if you want to deal with those fucking payments, if you want to fucking deal with the insurance and all that fucking salesman shit, okay, that's fine. That's you. Or you could buy a fucking used up car, a used car for whatever half off you fucking have. And then throughout time, the car that you wanted, guess what? 10 years later, boom, buy that shit. When you fucking can. Are you incomplete if you can't have that car right in that fucking moment? It's just a fucking item. What matters is what you are doing with your fucking time. That's what matters most. All this shit, everything around me, including the people involved in my life, are a sacrifice of my time and energy. And then I have to understand and accept whatever little time that they can give me. I have to appreciate that. Because guess what? Me trying to think about the next move, right? Knowing the real worth is time, because a motherfucker could die at any moment. A motherfucker could choose, like, hey, I don't have much time with my family, I could do this. You have to understand, no one gives a fuck about a watch. No one gives a fuck about a fucking shirt that's $50. No one cares, bro. No one cares. Time. And the shit that is going to be useful of your time that you're going to build upon. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. The only thing that's so disappointing with life, and I got this from a Bronx Tale, is wasted talent. Wasted fucking talent. I don't hate the people on OnlyFans. If they could get that money, they can get that money. They found something worth their time, but the thing is, that's only gonna last a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Your looks are gonna fucking fade. So are you using that to go to school? Are you using that for something else? You know, for guys that are selling drugs and all that other shit.
What's the long game?
What's the long game? Because you can't retire in drugs, bro.
Yeah.
And-
only, like you said, OnlyFans is, there's always the new hot bitch. Like,
The
you know what I'm saying? Like, the
no,
latest-
not even that. It's so competitive.
Well, exactly. So
It's all
like,
competitive. OnlyFans, drugs, clubs, actors, actresses, all that shit is so competitive.
But it's the mindset. Like you
It's
said.
the mindset.
If a chick is, let's say, you know, she's a young girl doing OnlyFans, usually those people are in it for the moment, not for what this could take me into the next phase.
What do you think I'm in this for?
I think you're in this to build, like you said, an empire.
An empire. But where do you think my mind's at in the sense of what I want to do with all this? What I want for myself in this? What I want out of this? What do you think? What do you think I want?
That's good. I would say, for sure, some kind of creative freedom where you get to give people the opportunity that they may never had. Maybe give people a voice as well, you know, because like you were doing interviews before, and so it's one of those things where I think ultimately you want to give people, it's like you said, wasted talent. You want to sort of wake people up. You're kind of like that guy that
I
wants
want to leave a legacy. I
to-
want to
what you
leave.
mentioned before.
I want to leave something behind, of showing people that you can just do this, and you don't need some fancy ass shit. You can do it with some fucking $250 camera, handheld camcorder. You know what I'm saying? A group of motherfuckers that know what it takes and will sacrifice with you. Some cold ass motherfuckers, right? And just go through the shit with you and understand what it takes to sacrifice. And if you lose people on the way, bro, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's gonna suck because you wish you could build it up with them. I wish I could build it up with you guys. I wish. You know, but I'm not taking your sacrifices for nothing, because I'm doing this because I couldn't have done this without you fucking guys. The people who have gone out of my life and the people who are in my life now. I am very grateful for them. And I'm not going to let all that go to waste. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, this is not for me. This is for me in the sense that I'm not going to stop. This is my fucking drug. You know what I'm saying? Because I could just do this. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, dude. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't do anything of this stuff. I just know that this is how it's supposed to happen. and then I'm gonna research this, and then boom, I'm gonna do it.
And you're figuring
Okay,
it out along
I
the
didn't
way.
ask to be a boss. I didn't ask to do all this stuff. I didn't. People looked at me that way. They looked at me that way. They made me that way because in the end of the day, I'm just a man. And not in the gender shit. I'm not trying to just say man. No.
A human.
No. I'm a person. I'm just a person. Okay? That just decided to just fucking do it. And go through the fucking crap that's gonna just
Comes with it.
that comes with it.
Yeah.
And whatever my people are going through, just be there for them and show them that they're not alone. And whatever I can in my power help them out with, that's what I'm going to fucking do. And if they gotta go, they gotta go. Not in the sense that like, oh fuck you, go. No, in the sense that like, I understand. Go do what you gotta do. And then if they'll come back, they come back. If not, there's other people out there, bro.
Yeah.
There's other, and that's how you build. That's how you build.
Yeah.
And you get the idea from, and this is what I'm saying, because me being Christian, this is how I thought about it. If Jesus could go to any person and build his disciples up like that, then I can do the same thing too. I can find people that believe in me, that can believe just like me and do this, and we're going to do this together, not me. And they're going, and people build me up, but I don't see myself like that sometimes. I didn't ask to be that. All I did was said, I'm going to do this. And these people looked at me like, hey, Peter, this is what you need to do to get there, bro. I got your back. I believe in you. And there you go. Go. That's it. They didn't tell me like, you're whatever you say, boss, whatever you say, like you're in charge. No, it was not like that. It is like, hey man, I believe in you and I see what you're doing and I support it. How can I help? And I feel like this is what you need to do, bro. Go try it, go. And then if it come back, we'll figure out the next move. We will figure out the next move. In the end of the fucking day, it is just you. You are just a person. And God, if you want to believe in hope, a higher power, the cosmos, whatever it is that's going to get you out of fucking bed and not want to fucking kill yourself, right? Then that's what it is. That's literally all that it is. And just fucking do it.
Just do it.
That's all it is. You know? So that's what I want. That's what I want to do. Just to show that I did it. I don't need money. I don't need any of that stuff. Because guess what? Living a normal fucking life is so fucking easy. You literally just need 2 fucking jobs or a job.
And then you just
That's
live
it.
life. Yeah.
That's it. You make sure that the jobs that you have work for you. They work for you. You get benefits. You have to make sure that you get benefits out that fucking job.
Yeah.
And then you get another job to buy the useless shit that you want to use. Life is so easy. So easy if you just learn to just go through it. Just fucking do it. You know, bills, fucking no problem. I'll get another job. Work more hours, and then when I'm done with that, with those bills and everything like that, I'll quit that job. Because guess what? That's the whole point of a job.
Yeah.
You use that bitch. You use it. Don't let them use you. Do not let them use you.
That's very true.
You're going in there. This is how I go, right? I go into the interview, and I said, "Hi, hello, nice to meet you," and everything. So how can I apply myself to this position? Oh, well, the job requires this and this. Oh, okay, cool. You know, and then what else does this need me to do? You know, like, oh, I don't think I could work with this. Like, is there training to this? Is there this? I'm asking them questions that's going to benefit me. What comes with the position? You know, which you already know when you looked at the job, but you got to make sure that this job is literally telling you everything that's on that fucking thing. right? If you're gonna get health benefits, if you're gonna get a 401k, if you're gonna get discounts and all that shit, you gotta ask them up front because I read it on this and everything like that, this and this and this, and then hold them down to it because they're putting a value to your time.
That's very true, and I think a lot of people that always want like they're always complaining at work. Those are the worst kind of people I want to be around. Because
Yeah.
you don't have to be there.
You don't.
You know what I mean? Like people, and they always have like people that have like a bad attitude at work. Like I get it, we all have our bad days.
Yeah.
But if you project that frustration and energy on someone else, that's fucked up in my opinion. That's why I try when I'm at work or when I'm anywhere where I'm doing work, not to ever like blow up on anybody. Try to project my own frustrations because it's not really them that's the problem now. It's me. You know what I mean? Being at the wrong place or being in the wrong mindset.
Well, not only that, because at the same time, what's it called? It's not your time anymore. This is another thing too, is having to switch on, switch off. You know, when you get to your work and you clock in, you're no longer on your time anymore, bro.
Yeah.
You're no longer on your time. You're on company time. Therefore, if someone's yelling at you, hey man, don't yell at me. What's your problem? If you want, go to HR, make a complaint. Are you still yelling at me? Hey, I'm warning you. Please stop. You know, please stop. Don't do it. And then if they keep, then self-defense. Self-defense.
Yeah.
You know, there has to be
Preservation of life.
there has to be levels. You go to your manager, you go to HR, you go to your manager, you make sure you do all the steps and then that's it. Don't be emotional.
Yeah. Don't be emotional.
Don't be emotional. In the end of the
Because
day,
you always lose. Once you're emotional, you lose.
you lose. You had to think of your next move. You had to always think of your next move.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that the next move you're going to make is the right move. Because if there's one shred of doubt, the whole thing falls apart. The whole thing falls apart. You're going to sink, and now you're back in your bed, and now you're not getting up. And now, like, what is it called? It's been 2 days,
Yeah.
and then you haven't accomplished anything. The house is still a mess. The car hasn't been paid. And, you know, you still got bills that you need to fucking take care of. In the end of the day, you have to sit down and figure out why you're in the mud and what's going to motivate you to get up. Not a person. Okay? Not a person.
A purpose.
A purpose. A purpose. Find purpose. And once you find purpose, there you go. This is my purpose.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Find your purpose, and surround yourself with people that bring a better version of you out.
That's
You
it.
know? It's like if I try to teach you something, I'm doing it because I genuinely want you to be better.
Yeah.
If I was one of those guys where like, oh, I'm jealous, why would I teach you something to make you better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it goes back to the idea, like you said, it's value in the people around you and being in that right synchronization
Yeah.
with them. You know what I mean? Because like you said, people fall off. It's because they're not in sync with you.
They're not. And then even if you try to be back in sync with them, it's not going to be the same.
They have to at that point, they have to catch up a different way.
That's it.
You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
can't, because like you said, you know, my buddy told me this recently where he's an audio engineer and he was learning something from someone at a live show, and he was asking the guy questions, and the guy turned around and said, "Hey, I'm not getting paid to teach you. I'm getting paid to work the gig." You know what I mean? And I looked at it this way. He's right, because my buddy is in the place to learn quietly. You know, if this guy has a job to do, let him do his job. Let him cook, and you learn around him. You can't stop greatness when it's happening. You know what I mean? And I understood my buddy's side, wanting to learn and thinking this guy would take the time out, but at the same time he had a job to do, and he had to tell my buddy, "Hey, I'm here. I have to do a job." You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. An example.
It's like you said. If people fall off, it's because they're not playing their part. Because somewhere along the way, they're not.
I invited a previous friend back to try to start up a project here. hey man, I finally have a studio now, and I want to give you the opportunity to start your own project. You don't have to worry about equipment. You don't have to worry about time. You don't have to. I'll give you all that. I'll give it to you. Here's your opportunity. Nah, man, I'm good. Why? No, because I don't want to. Okay. Did it hurt? Did it suck? Yeah. But he's right. He's right. Because in the end of the day, it's not the same anymore. It's not the same. You know, I try to relive an old thing. You know, bring them back and say like, "Hey, look, let's try doing this again. Let's." But you can't do that for another person. And that's it. That's why you don't depend on people for your happiness. That's why you don't look toward that. And you ask God for help to show you that, and you have to let go. You have to let go of all that shit that's holding you down, and just go with it. Whatever it is, just go with it. And it's gonna get better. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna get better. You know?
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like we go on about all this, but like in the end of the day, it's just more of like, hey, this boils down to the three things. You know, go through it, figure out what's the root of it, right? Other than you, but what's the root of it, and how to tackle it all, and then go through it, and go through that journey with yourself and God, or whatever higher power you believe in. You know, that's just it. Go through it with whatever higher power you believe in. The only thing is, you know, I will say this on a personal note: that whole Satan shit, it needs to stop. It makes me think of, honestly, if you watch Jojo Rabbit, watch Jojo Rabbit. If you believe in that whole Satan stuff, you know, if you're a Satanist and everything like that, watch Jojo Rabbit, and you'll get what I'm talking about. You know, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be happy to circle back on that one.
Man.
But Jojo Rabbit, that's the assignment. Watch that movie, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would say my final words to the viewers and anybody, you know, listening is, you know, value the people around you, and like Peter said, that he made a good point. Focus on the time and not the things, the money. Value people and value the time you have on earth, because none of us chose to be here. We're all on the same rock, and honestly, it gets pretty fucking crazy. So that's how I would say, you know, try to live your life is to value more.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Two Dudes Podcast. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button.